Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about the new hire at the GM spot for the Vancouver Canucks. Now before we start, please make sure to join the Hockey Brigade by subscribing if you are new. Appreciate it so much. Now let's get to it. So, starting off, who did Vancouver hire? The team hired the 47-year-old Patrik Allvin. Not sure if I'm saying that right, but off of a video I watched earlier today, that's how they said it. But anyway, he is now the 12th GM in Canucks history. Two key takeaways here, and one of them being that Alvin spent 16 years with the Pittsburgh Penguins and their organization, which means that he does have ties to current Vancouver Canucks president Jim Rutherford, who was the Pens GM from 2014 to 2021, and there's some familiarity there for sure, which I'm going to talk about later in the video. The second thing that I wanted to focus on, this is just kind of a cool thing, is that Alvin will now be the second European GM in NHL history to be the GM of an NHL franchise. The first, of course, being current Columbus Blue Jackets GM Jarmo Kekalainen, who's from Finland, which means that Alvin, who is from Sweden, will be the first Swedish GM to lead an NHL team in league history. Interesting for sure, just a little side note thing there, but I want to circle back to Alvin's ties with the Penguins. In his time with them, he served as the Director of European Scouting for the franchise from 2012 till 2017, before being promoted to the Director of Amateur Scouting for the Pens. Then in November of 2020, he was then given the role of Assistant GM, obviously for Jim Rutherford, and that was kind of cool to see, or interesting to see, that we see that connection, as obviously Jim was still making the decisions for the Steel City team, and they were, making the playoffs, not winning in the playoffs, but they were making it. Then for Alvin, he served as the interim GM when Jim resigned from his position and eventually lost out to Ron Hextall for the GM spot in Pittsburgh. Regardless, we can see, even though he didn't get the spot, he has a lot of time spent in the league, a lot of that being Pittsburgh. He might have went with Montreal too. I don't remember, but I think there's a thing saying he might have spent his first year or two with Montreal. But we can see he has worked his way up over the years, being with this franchise for quite some time, and I'm curious to see how he starts off his tenure with Vancouver. They're my favorite team. I keep up with them a lot, and this team is getting more wins under current head coach, or new head coach, Bruce Boudreau, but is still 5 points out of a playoff spot. And the other teams have games in hand, making it very unlikely that they'll make it this year, which does not help because there has been a ton of reports and rumors that veteran players like Yaroslav Halak, that is a goalie, and then JT Miller is going to be on the move. And we are going to see what kind of start he's going to have here, as these veteran players could be traded, maybe will, just because of where we're headed as a team, not picking up wins fast enough. And I want to see what he gets out of those trades if he does trade these veteran guys. What is the return going to be? Because that is going to kickstart what I personally think about him, and the franchise I think thinks about him. How is he going to handle trades? Is he going to get a good return, or is it going to start off really bad? And that's going to be something that I'm excited to see. The team, as we all know, definitely has talent. They have an established core as well that they want to build upon in the future. You got Pedersen, you've got Hughes, you've got Besser, you've got Demko, and so forth. But it is far from being a perfect roster. We've seen that because Travis Green and Jim Benning, they were not getting this team to win. So we're going to have to see how he gets creative, that being Alvin, into getting this team back to being a competitive team that's in the hunt for the playoffs and hopefully winning rounds. But he's fortunate for a few reasons. Here's why. I say that he's fortunate because Vancouver is a very ideal destination for a lot of guys due to the things you can do inside and outside of the city. That could be fun, that could be hiking, that could be mountain biking. I know has become really popular. But it's also a good place that you are able to bring your family. If you're a family man, you can get your kid into a good school and, plenty of fresh air. The mountains over by the city. So that's a very appealing thing for free agents. Also, with his Swedish background and his European scouting background, I am really interested to see if he can get some free agents and snag him out there, because especially if they're European, he's got some use, he's got some experience with that European scouting, and if they're from Sweden, maybe he can, sweeten the pot and find ways to bring them in, because that would be very helpful heading into this offseason where there's plenty of work to be done for this team, and we've obviously got a lot of money locked up into a few players. So we're going to have to see how he wiggles his way around and adjust this roster to fit. Will he be calling all the shots? I'm not sure yet. I see that Jim has plenty of GM experience, And he obviously had mixed results with the Pens. They won those 2 championships, but on the back end, there were some really interesting deals made. But I want to see if Jim will give his insight into what he wants, as well as the new coach, Bruce, what he'll do, because Alvin has to be able to listen to everybody in a room. You don't want to just be a guy that only listens to yourself. You need to be able to listen and bounce ideas off of each other. But he absolutely has to make his decision at the end of the day, what's best for the franchise, what's best for the organization going forward, whatever that direction would be. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because there are a lot of experienced guys in this organization, this front office, and I'm excited, but I'm also cautiously optimistic about it. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I'm excited for him, and I'm hoping things go well, and here's to hoping that he can turn the franchise around. We can get back to competing for a Stanley Cup, and maybe, who knows, win 1 or 2. We'll have to see. What do you think of the hire? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, before you go, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you are new. If you liked it, join the Hockey Brigade by subscribing. Also, everybody, I wanted to say, sorry about the past 2 days. Things have been a little crazy. 2 days ago we went to go see the dog trainer for my dog. Ended up being there 2.5 hours instead of an hour, but it was great. He was super awesome with our dog Code, and that is huge because our dog needs a lot of work, but he is a great dog. And then yesterday I had work. It was a nightmare, to be honest, but it was also fun. But yeah, I just wanted to say that. I'm coming back, putting out more videos. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. You love hockey, all right? Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.